Greetings, everyone. It's Eagle 1023 coming to you from Tampa, Florida. It is Thursday early morning. It's about 12:20 a.m. Eastern Standard Time. This is a video response to this video here that you see in front of you from Josie Outlaw. It's called Who Owns You? And this is a very interesting video. And I've got to tell you, first off, I love Josie Outlaw. I respect this young lady. She has courage. She has convictions. She speaks truth to power, and she is, one of many who are attempting to awaken the masses, to shift the consciousness of people, to have them, look introspectively and not just outwardly, but look everywhere in their life and see the truth for what it is. In the video here, Who Owns You?, Josie points out that it's basically about politics for the most part. It's about the political system being corrupt, and that the system is set up as a means of enslavement. And that when you vote for politicians, you're voting for your enslavement. When you abide by the rules and the regulations and the laws set forth in the current reality that we all exist in, you're supporting your own enslavement. When you pay property taxes, when you pay income taxes, when you have a driver's license, you're supporting your enslavement. And Josie is 100% correct. In everything here, she's right. And that's exactly what's happening. We are supporting our enslavement. Here's where I take issue with this video. And towards the end of the video, Josie talks about everyone, she suggests to everyone to opt out of the system. Just opt out of the system. Stop paying your taxes. Stop voting for politicians. Stop calling your congressman or signing petitions. Stop doing anything, and this system will collapse. And here's the reality check I offer to those of you watching this video. That's a dream. That's a dream. In a perfect world, you would get a mass 110 million. I just did a video Sunday about this, how 110 million Americans will watch a Super Bowl. They'll come together to watch a Super Bowl, but they won't act on behalf of humanity. They can't seem to come together on matters of importance, issues that really matter to us. And this enslavement is a very big part of this. But my question I have to Josie is, do you have a job, Josie? Who owns you? Are you paying property taxes? Are you paying income taxes? Do you bank with a bank? Do you pay interest on any loans? Do you have loans out there? Do you have a driver's license? Do you have a car payment? Do you have car insurance? Do you pay for your car insurance? Do you renew your driver's license? Or have you opted out of the system as you offer here for everyone else? Do you walk the walk, or are you talking the talk? And I guess that's the most critical thing I have about the video. I agree with the premise. I agree with the points she makes here, but it kind of comes off as disingenuous to suggest to everyone else that they need to follow this advice. But I'm willing to bet that Josie herself, she's a very beautiful young lady here. She's very smart. She's incredibly articulate. I love the production of the video. The backdrop is beautiful. Very professional here. You can tell that this lady is sincere, that Josie means what she says. But the question is, do you walk the walk, Josie? I'm willing to bet you have a job, and I'm willing to bet you pay income taxes. I'm willing to bet you have a car, and that you have a driver's license, and whether you have a car payment or not, that you're paying for car insurance. And my question is, who owns you? You may be opted out of the political system, but how's that done for you? How's that working? You can get half the country, 70% of the country, 80% of the country not to vote and just opt out. But I guarantee you, come the day after elections, there will be representatives that will continue to do this, the same old, ad infinitum until the day you die and the day I die. This system will not collapse until the collective consciousness shifts. And that's the point I make here. If you follow the advice of this video and just drop out, you're going to find yourself in an orange jumpsuit. Because the reality is, and I hate to be the bearer of truth, but the reality is there is a system in place that will enslave you even further than you are now. You will see the inside of a courtroom. You will have handcuffs on. You will be escorted to a jail cell if you follow this advice. That's the truth. And if you think otherwise, take this advice and run with it. The system is established to control us, and it does that very well. I love the video Josie put out about law enforcement, challenging law enforcement to step up and represent. instead of harass and intimidate. That, check your conscience. Josie's right. We've hired thugs with guns and badges. We're paying taxes to be enslaved by individuals who either they know better and they continue to do this because they get a paycheck, or they're just not that bright and they can't see through the fog and through the haze of the deception. That they've convinced themselves that what they're doing is right and just, but subconsciously, each and every one of them on a subconscious level knows that what they're doing is wrong. They just know it. There's a big difference between protecting and serving and acting as the corporate thugs, the protectors of the corporations and corrupt government. But in this instance here, in this video, I suggest that you can make a difference. The system that we have in place is a system that we have consciously created. It is the system that's in front of you. And it's not going away because you turn your back. It's still going to be there whether you appreciate it or not, whether you respect it or not. It will be the system till the day we die, unless we collectively come together in mass. That's the trick here. That's what I pointed out in my last video. It will take the mass consciousness to say no. And right now, you have the right to petition your grievances. That's the system we have in place, folks. So if you want to bring about change, you have to petition. You have to call those so-called representatives. Yes, they're evil. Yes, and I say that in the sense that they're corrupted. I'm not here to judge them individually. They're individual persons. But there is a system in place. And you have to act within the parameters that are set up right now. That's the way it is. And denying that reality isn't going to change that reality. And that's just that's the point I make in this video here. 110, 120, 150 million Americans signing a petition saying end the NSA will end the NSA. It was the petitions, it was the phone calls, it was the aggressive actions towards the government supporting a war in Syria that stopped the war in Syria. It was you as a collective. There was a large enough number of people that stood up and said no to a war in Syria. That's what stopped the war in Syria. If you followed the advice of this video and you did nothing, you just opted out and didn't contact your representatives and didn't do anything, if you think for a minute that we wouldn't be in Syria right now, you're kidding yourself. You all know better than that. I know better than that. Josie knows better than that. It was because you acted en masse as a collective to put a stop to that war. That's why that war did not occur, at least up until now. That's still an open book. I still suspect that that's where we're heading. They're just hoping that everybody falls back asleep or opts out of the system. The fact of the matter is, we have a system in place. We have to take advantage of that. We have to speak out as much as we can. You need to sign the petitions because that's the system in place. You need to call your representatives because that's the system in place right now. And until somebody has another system that we can turn to that's already set for us, this is the reality check, folks. If you don't act, you're going to continue to be a slave. They don't care if you turn your back to the system. You're still going to follow the rules, just like Josie does, just like I do, just like each one of you that are listening to this video does. It's nice to talk the talk, but it's a lot harder to walk the walk. And most of us are not willing to give up our liberty of just existing in order to make a point. There will not be enough people that will come together to do that. At least I don't see it. So although I do respect Josie, and I really do, I like this young lady, and I respect her courage. I do respect her. And she is very articulate. I have to totally disagree with her argument here. I totally disagree. She's basically telling you, go ahead, see who owns you. Go ahead. Stop obeying the rules. Stop following the laws. Just ignore it and it'll go away kind of attitude. That's not real. You're going to end up arrested. You're going to end up in a courtroom if you follow this advice. And she knows that. I know that. You know that. We have to come together. There's a way to put a stop to this. We can call for a constitutional convention. We can change things. We can shake things up. We can literally empower ourselves if we take control of the political paradigm, at least, and the economic paradigm. If 150 million Americans said end the Federal Reserve, and we stood up and we spoke loud and insisted on this, spoke up about this, it would end. The Federal Reserve would cease to exist. The mass, the minority will listen to the mass when they feel threatened. And that's what it's going to take to change the system. Ignoring the system isn't going to make it go away, okay? It's like my light worker friends, those that are all love and light. They think that if you just ignore the darkness, it'll go away. Well, how's that working, folks? That's living outside of reality. You're still 3D, my light worker friends. You're not 5D yet. If you challenge that, take a knife and cut your wrist, cut your hand. Just a little prick there. You'll still bleed. I'm not saying cut it. I'm saying just, poke yourself with a little baby needle or something and see if you ain't bleeding. You're going to bleed. You're still 3D. And just because you meditate the problems away isn't going to make the problems go away. If that were the case, they would have been gone a long time ago. So, and I meditate. So, anyway, I just wanted to put this out there. Josie, I love you. And I so appreciate the point you're making here, and I get it. You're fed up with the system, and you want people to take their power back. I just disagree with the way that with your suggestion on how to do it. I think that leads to a lot of misery for a lot of people. If they follow your advice, each individual, they may feel good as a collective, but individually, when they're individually arrested in Kentucky and Louisiana and Arizona, because they're not abiding by the rules and regulations and the laws that are in place, unfortunately, they will suffer the consequences. And I do believe that you have a job, you have a car, you have property, or you're renting, you put gas in your car, you're paying taxes, you're supporting the banking system, you're dressed very nicely, you're supporting the corporations that are profiting off of your purchases. You're part of the system too. You're owned. You're no less a slave than we are, and that's the point I make here. I love you, and I love all of you out there. I just wanted to put this out there. So I want to thank you for taking the time to watch the video. It's just my perspective. Share your thoughts if you feel like it down below. Please don't be nasty. This is just I put this out there for people to think. And I wish that Josie's paradigm were the reality that we lived in, but unfortunately it's not. And unless you have the mass collective engaged in what she suggests here, all it's going to do is create individual miseries. It's not going to make a difference with a handful of people saying no to the system. They're just going to end up being slaves, just in another way, in a jail cell. So anyway, again, leave any comments or suggestions if you'd like. And this is Eagle 1023. I'm going to sign out now. All right. Hope you appreciated this. I'll talk to you soon.